Hey guys, Rexasaur here and welcome to Update Monday on the 7th of March 2022. This is going to be a relatively short Update Monday because fuck all happened last week that is worthy of going into great detail. Last week played a bit of Apex, played some Warhammer 2, I've started my campaign as Bretonnia, not playing Warhammer 3 until a few patches. I realised over the course of this week that I may have been a bit harsh in my criticisms of Warhammer 3. I think it's just because it has so much potential and it's not getting to it. But I watched a few reviews and a few comments from other YouTubers and personalities who've played the game and made reviews of them. And I feel like, specifically, I watched Angry Joe's review, and I have to say I probably agree a lot in what he says. And he gave the game an 8 out of 10. I personally would still not give it that. But a lot of the things that he's saying, and from me playing Warhammer 2, there's a lot of changes that Warhammer 3 does that is actually substantially better than Warhammer 2 and the previous Total War titles. Like, the UI is actually a huge improvement on the previous titles, specifically the faction, what am I talking about, like what's it called, Diplomacy, there we go. Diplomacy is it's just infinitely better. It's very similar to Three Kingdoms, and Three Kingdoms did amazing Diplomacy, and this is maybe not quite as incredible as the Three Kingdoms Diplomacy, but it's so close that it might as well be. And yeah, there's a lot of very small UI tweaks and quality of life improvements that are just so much better in Warhammer 3 than they are Warhammer 2, and I'm going back to play Warhammer 2, I'm struggling because even though I only play like 60 or so hours of Warhammer 3, I'm like, damn, this is worse. But I still feel like it really needs a patch. It needs some kind of balancing, because the main campaign is too much of a slog to go through more than once or twice. That's to say, as soon as if they tweak that in the Realm of Chaos campaign, or if Immortal Empires, as long as Immortal Empires doesn't have the Realms of Chaos mechanic, then that game's going to be just incredible. And yeah, so that's that about Warhammer 3. I've been playing a bunch of Horizon Forbidden West, and fuck me, that game's incredible. I'm absolutely loving my time with it. The voice acting is incredible, the animation's incredible, the general game is just wonderful. There's one or two little iggling things, but that might just be poor balancing based. Like, there's one specific side quest that you get given really early on that probably should have been a higher level, but other than that, it's really, really good. D&D last week was really, really, really fun for me specifically, since my party's in a moral qualm, which, as a DM who's trying to make that the thing, so I'm trying to make it so that the world isn't black and white, and it's working. Although I'm mostly staying on the darker scale there, between the choices I have to make, but it's really, really, really nice to see them interact with it, because that's what you want to do. I gave them a world and they're interacting with it, so that's nice. So we'll see what happens tomorrow regarding that. And this weekend I went to see my brother and my friend in Bristol. Also got to see my future sister-in-law at the same time, which wasn't planned, but what she was doing that morning was cancelled, so got to see her as well, which was nice. We had a really nice meal, and then I chilled out with my friend basically all weekend, and it was very chill. And we played some Cyberpunk, which may come to a shock to many of you. I certainly wasn't expecting playing it or enjoying it at all, but actually it's been like a year since it's been out, or it's been a significant amount of time. The game, so my friend has a PS5, so it's a PS5 version, so it was released very recently on PS5, and we did still encounter some minor glitches and bugs, but they were very minor, and we didn't really realise they were bugs until we were like, that doesn't seem right. So they weren't like game breaking or anything, they were just like little niggling, like, that's odd. But yeah, it's not, I think it's definitely not a next gen game, is the best way to think. It's definitely still very much entrenched in the PS4, Xbox One era. There's a lot of things with it that just don't really the thing is, we're playing Horizon Forbidden West at the same time, alongside, like, in terms of perspective, we're obviously not playing them at the same time, but you can tell the difference between a next gen game and a previous gen game, and yeah, it's very obvious. But the game itself is still very enjoyable. The gameplay is very enjoyable. The story is very well written and very intriguing. The side quests are maybe not quite as well written, but they are very fun and interact in the world element very well. So if you have Cyberpunk and you haven't played it because of all the fuck up it was at launch, it may be worth reinstalling just to have a go at it now, because I feel like a lot of those really, really annoying bugs actually have been resolved. But that's just from my personal play. So it might be very different on PC or on PS4, for example. But yeah, not really much else going on, to be honest. I did say this was going to be short. There's not really, like this week I'm going to be playing stuff. Yesterday we watched Bourne Supremacy, I think is the second Bourne film called. It was alright. It didn't really add anything. It was like a sequel that was just a sequel. There was nothing, like, it didn't add any pressing things. It was basically the exact same as the first film, just a little bit later, kind of thing. There was a bit of a convoluted, personally I felt it was very convoluted background to try and tie it in with the first film when it really didn't need that. But yeah, whatever. We'll see what the third film brings. It was still enjoyable. We still had fun watching. But yeah, it was. I feel like the first film was better just because it was the first film, and yeah, the second film didn't really add much to it. So yeah, yeah, that's about it. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week.